join me for this next conversation, I have Ron, one of the co-founders of Buy Black. Welcome to the conversation, Ron.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here, and we're really happy to have all the entrepreneurs and just this community around Black business here today.
So talk to me about the genesis of why Buy Black. And it's not B-U-Y,
Yes.
it's B-Y.
Yeah.
What was the genesis of that?
For us, we really felt like it's not enough to talk about consumption. A lot of times people think that what would solve the issues in the Black community is simply bought for each other, but for us, we think about what does it mean to create solutions by Black people, by Black engineers, by Black communities, by Black nonprofits. That's actually what it is how do we actually, you think about like writing, there's a byline, and it really is about empowerment through an entire through line, and that for us is actually way more important than simply do you buy something today. How are you actually making Black people a little bit more autonomous, a little more powerful in the work you do?
I love it. Now, is this an initiative that you're taking on tour? Is it just a DC thing? Like, what's the vision for Buy Black?
I think like any good product, we are experimenting. And so this is our third year doing the conference. Before it was a sort of a hybrid. Before that it was completely online. We've now taken a step further and gone completely in person. And so I think in that iterative fashion, we are consistently looking, okay, can we do some more of these like marketplaces, more cities, more pop-ups? Can we do more experiences that are just more rich in the way that you can kind of participate? And the reception is positive, so that helps us really know there's a path forward for that.
Let's talk about engagement. Black engagement in Black products, services, community. What are some of the barriers that we have to overcome? And before I give my own judgments and my own experiences and things that I've witnessed and heard, what would you say are some of those elements?
So I think a few things is we should be asking ourselves who's the audience we're talking to. And so when we're talking to Black consumers, we might have a different set of conversations. We're having conversations with corporations, we might have different conversations. And when we're talking to governments, we might have different conversations. For us at Buy Black, it's really important to actually have nuanced discourse with everybody. So we talk about the diverse universe of Black business. So there are companies that spend money or are focused on completely, you and I, B2C. There's B2B, which is enterprise companies that are thinking about how do I sell to an MGM? How do I sell to a large corporation? And their business is thinking about governments. So how do I actually sell to the Army or to the Navy or to Congress or something like that? Having the ability to think through that is a really important part of it. But I think your question on the barrier is really around how do we have the ability to scale and support businesses of all needs, and hopefully recognize that there is absolute quality in the products that we create. What they really need is opportunities for exposure and really the opportunity for people to appreciate what we have to offer as such a diverse constituency. There's a great stat that 50% of people that purchased from a minority-owned business during 2020 and 2022 want to spend more money with diverse businesses. People are excited about being able to support businesses. 60% of consumers say they want to prioritize or are already prioritizing buying Black-owned businesses. So there's just an absolute reality that people want to buy Black people. They need to feel like they can find them. They need to feel like they can ultimately engage with them. And I think those are some of the big barriers that are there.
Now, on the counter side, the people who have gone and supported Black-owned businesses and felt like it wasn't high quality, the customer service was lacking, and they ultimately walk away feeling like this is why I don't patronize Black-owned businesses. How do we overcome that? Because what I feel like I'm hearing, those are not the majority. Although I feel like when it happens, it deters us from wanting to support other Black-owned businesses.
I think that's absolutely right? Like we have these moments and they stand out to us as somehow reaffirmations of what we believe is maybe our own negativity or bias against Black-owned businesses, and that's immediate, right? There's a whole apparatus that ultimately tells us that our quality isn't there, our product isn't as good, that we don't have necessarily anything to offer, and then sadly people affirm that in their own perspectives, which is really great research around simply being perceived as a Black-owned business or starting a business in a Black neighborhood. Simply being in a Black neighborhood, your products, your quality could be just as high as any business in a white neighborhood, in a non-Black neighborhood. Simply being perceived as Black people will rate your business lower or have fewer comments on your business because they perceive it to be black. And I think that's a really important element of like the inherent bias that's actually institutional and subconscious in the way we think about black business. You don't think about, I bought from black business and I got my product on time and I got exactly what I wanted and like, cool. Because that's how it should be. It should feel that automatic. Right. It is the moments that feel as though they don't match up with our expectations that we hold on to.
Yeah.
And hopefully, even within our own community, we can be a little bit more understanding. But also recognize that it's going to always have a certain amount of nuance in that we're not always going to think about things that just, when the light turns on, you don't think, your power goes on.
Right.
You're only thinking about when, the blackout comes out, you're like, how can they mess this up? And I think that's a really important way to hopefully bring a little bit more care to our commentary.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I love what you're doing. I want to applaud you for the work that you're doing. And so, what are your expectations here at the Buy Black conference?
My expectation is that you find a business that you love. If you are looking to support a business, hopefully you realize that black business is truly as broad as you can imagine it to be. We've got folks that are having conversations in creating media. We've got folks that are selling to multi-billion-dollar corporations. We've got folks that are selling cookies in Amazon or at a Walmart. And that if you can simply walk away with the magic of black ingenuity, I think that's an amazing takeaway from this. Hopefully you also participate in some of the work that we're doing at Buy Black. If you're black in business, I encourage you to certify at certification.buyblack.us. I encourage you to onboard at buyblack.us. If you are not a black in business, I always recommend referring black in business that you know of.
And supporting black owned businesses.
And supporting black businesses. That's such a, and I think the thing is finding ways to be able to participate in that because I think there is so much more that we all can do for each other and hopefully bring a lot of grace in the process.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Ron. Congratulations on the success of this event. It's absolutely phenomenal and much more success in the future.
Yes, more to come and we look forward to having you there with us.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, this was great.
Okay, good.
Question for you.
Yes.
So, do you have a Buy Black podcast?
We do not have a Buy Black podcast. I am already stretched thin enough just trying to think through some of our social media content stuff, and so we have a whole agency that's helping us do that. We do not have a podcast. There are tons of things we'd love to talk about, but it's actually the work.
The getting it in order. So I have a podcast network that is all around amplifying black voices and monetizing it, because I feel like a lot of us, we create content but we're not generating revenue from it. So our app that's coming out later this winter allows the black content creator to monetize. We also have an app store right in the app where people can you're talking about this, I can make this purchase right now. So I would love to talk to you. I mean, I know right now you're like my cup runneth over.
And with no type of arrogance, it's like you recognize, these are the couple of things that you always know what the burning building is in front of you.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I just got to throw water on that right now. But I'm very much interested in thinking about ways that we expand just the audience, right? And the reach, and the different ways that we can reach people, because not everyone, people are on TikTok, they're not only on TikTok, they're not only on LinkedIn, they're also consuming all kinds of media.
Right. And so our particular company is in the Techstars DC program.
Yes, I've heard of Techstars. Sure.
So we
the accelerator and whatnot.
Yes, we're part of that. So we're powered by JP Morgan, funding wise. So yeah, people are really excited about what I'm building, and it's not like, COVID happened and I lunged into it. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So
to get clarification, sorry to interrupt you, but so you help actually the production, or you just help
with everything? We do the distribution, we have an app, we have.
So if I want to make a podcast, do I have to register the podcast? Do I have to my voice to be on it, or how does that?
No, you can say, hey Angel, this is the idea. I have this person that wants to host it, or you might not have anything. You might say, how much will it cost for production and to get this from A to B? This is the vibe I want it to have. We can do that. Yeah. So Tamar Braxton, that's kind of what we did with her. I created her show, produced it, and her show's actually on our network now, with a couple other celebrities that we're working with.
So when you say network, I'm thinking of so I'm thinking of two ways. I'm thinking
a Spotify, iHeart, podcast.
But is it exclusively on your network?
No, we push out to all of the major podcast directors storefronts is we push out to those with ads, and app, it's all Black content. So it's completely aggregated. We don't just pull RSS feeds, we have